ハートいただきます。カメリアダイヤモンド。
銀座ジュエリー牧松屋レディース4階。
I have no idea what they're selling in that one. Oh, good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's doing good. I have a little bit of a cold, and Baron has dengue fever, so this might be a short one tonight. But we'll soldier on. DJ, how are you doing tonight, DJ?
I'm doing well, Foss, and I'm looking to avoid mosquito bites. Dengue is like passing around again.
Baron, hanging in there. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing.
What? Better than not doing, I guess.
My entire body wants to disassemble.
No disassemble.
Me too. Same way.
Baron 5 is alive. So
that's the end of the show, folks.
Have a good night. Drive safe. Tip your waiter. We got a little bit of a late start. Somebody's starting to step on our toes. I don't know. It's like he's trying to push us into an overnight chat or something. I don't know. But so we had DJ out there was first, and PNW Woods, Gunpowder Beauty, good to see you, ma'am, and G Web's making a mess. So this week, let me call up our poll. I did a pizza poll, which kind of came out of last week's chat. Who was it that kind of right at the end of the chat? Was it the goddamn bacon that mentioned pizza, or who was it that mentioned the pizza? I don't remember. But that got me thinking, oh, well, why don't we do pizza poll for this week? Which was kind of funny because I set it up to post on Tuesday morning and then forgot. So when I got my first response in the comments was Razor JB. It said bacon and onion. I couldn't figure out what the hell he was talking about. I had to go back and then see, oh, yeah, I put a poll out. So MC said deep dish deluxe. The Dude, mushroom and olives. The Cancer Mouse, Ting Ting, said, I love dead animals. Mushrooms, hot pepper pizza. Keep the pineapple away. Mike said, first off, I think you should ban whoever said Hawaiian, but combo garbage pie for me. Karen Woodson said combo with extra cheese. AAF, American ammo and firearms, said if you're from New York, all you need is cheese. Guns and Barbecue said he finally remembered to do this before the show. Music Logic said toppings and more toppings with extra cheese. He just put out a short doing, I think, pizza bread. And Charger said pepperoni or sausage as long as it has extra sauce. Sergeant Joe Smith said Polish sausage and mushrooms from either Happy Joe's or Come and Go. Otherwise, Supreme, more toppings the better. Or Casey's Taco Pizza. I've heard a lot of people talk about Casey's. I've never had a Casey's pizza.
Is that regional somewhere?
I think so.
Indeed, it is. Yeah, expanding from the Midwest, I can actually say that that's some good pie. Better than a gas station pizza, for sure.
And Mike McLeod said, I love combination, Supreme style pizza, but can never go wrong with just the standard pepperoni. Hell, I like almost anything pizza. Body built pizza here for sure. And for the poll, it was pepperoni combination, veggie, or Hawaiian. And combination won out 49%. pepperoni at 34%, Hawaiian at 11%, and veggie at 5%.
I mean, I've never ate one of those, but looking at that picture, I would never eat that combination with those black olives and onions and green peppers. That's going to be all wet in there. I don't like when the pizza gets wet on there.
Yeah.
I don't mind the dry ingredients, but I don't like any like ingredients that release water into the pizza. No, thank you.
I do like olives. My favorite is a combination.
I can take one of those at a time, but that many, it's going to be dripping wet in the middle. Like
Yeah.
the crust gets wet.
My most favorite was the pre-bankruptcy Godfather pizza combination. I haven't had them since they came back, but
I didn't know they came back.
Yeah, hold on a second, because you're talking about another company, Origin Omaha, and they're out of our market. They're in yours. That's surprising.
they're not here anymore. But they are around. I think 2 years ago, might have been 2 years ago. Who is it? Clovertac. Clovertac did a short video on the first time he had Godfather pizza. Can't remember if it was after SHOT Show on his way back. So they did come back. Because I think, let me see here real quick. Location. So
Since 1973 in Omaha, Nebraska. In 2009, it was bought by Kane.
yeah,
according
that's
to the website.
Herman
that's
Cain.
who I was
Yeah.
trying to remember. Herman Cain. Yeah, he
Yeah.
brought it back.
453 locations, and then it operates in Speedway restaurants or Speedway gas stations and mini marts in Kentucky and Northeast Tennessee.
Wow,
Or
the
I
long
guess
range,
that's where gas stations are.
the long range of the Godfather. I'm interested to know that. It's locally, it's pretty much gone. I think that there might be. I mean, I said they're out of our market, but they maybe have 2 restaurants left here, and they would have had more than a dozen back in the day. And by the day, not too long after the origin that G-Web says, is when they moved out of Omaha and moved into small towns, like county seat towns would have a Godfather's if they didn't have a Pizza Hut. That's how they built a heck of a lot through the 80s. And quite commonly, because we were a once a month go out to have a meal growing up with my mom, Godfather's is one of those places. Jukebox, pinball machines, pizza, and pitchers of soda and beer. You can't go wrong in the Midwest.
And then they
Yeah.
went stool pigeon on the pizza mob, and then had to go into the witness protection, and then all of a sudden Uncle John's pops up. What?
When I was in high school, that's the track team. Some of us would go over to the mall. There was a Godfather pizza there. After practice, we'd walk over to the mall and have pizza because they'd have the it's like a buffet. Can't remember. It was like $5, and then you got a drink, and then as much pizza as you could eat.
I do recall when they started that. Lunchtime was the swing for that. I don't know if they had an evening buffet, but yeah, stopping in and mobbing out a couple of pizzas. And what I always did in almost every location, and not just that chain, you stop in and there's a pizza buffet, just ask them to make something specific for you instead of like fighting for the good stuff on the pizza buffet itself. And most places will do that for you.
I would just, when I would start putting slices in my bag, so I take home, a bunch of pizza.
We used to live like across the parking lot from a Pizza Hut, and yeah, you can just go in there and be like, "Hey, can you make a bacon and cheddar cheese?" And they'll be like, "All right."
So we had a few more people jump in out there. M. Gabriel saying Stromboli.
So like a calzone, but deep fried. Trying to
No,
remember.
calzone is sauce on the outside. Stromboli is sauce on the inside.
Wait, what?
That's the difference.
Oh, really? I thought
That's why
Stromboli-
calzones suck.
You can
Well,
order a calzone without the sauce on the outside, right? And then it'd be dry inside, dry outside.
A lot of calzones that you find are strombolis, but they call them calzones.
Son of a bitch.
Pink Panther 69 and Sharon Hinchcliffe. Good evening, Sharon.
I sent Sharon a link on Instagram. I hope that's okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and Wesley Foster is here.
My go-to pizza is a pan, pepperoni, bacon, black olive with Parmesan and red pepper flake.
I can party with that. That sounds good, Baron.
Extra cheese, extra sauce. If you like no sauce on your pizza, something's wrong with you.
Uh-oh, something's wrong with you, Baron. I was with you until you said extra sauce, and I'm just like, not that sloppy mess. I will sometimes, I'll just tell them to do it dry, particularly if there are ingredients, like a meat ingredient that's going to give off some juice when it cooks sort of deal. But yeah, sliding cheese across the top and all that kind of thing. Maybe with a fork, Baron. We can still party if you provide forks.
Evening, all. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How you doing,
Awesome.
Sharon?
Busy with work. My coworker just came back after a month and a half vacation. So that is one of the good things about where I work. We do get some nice perks that way. Pizza. I make pizza. I've been making pizza now at home. 25 years.
What kind do you like to
And
make?
I make a New York style. So it's the thin crust, good sauce, and mozzarella with some provolone cheese grated on top of it with an additional fresh oregano. And no, pineapple does not belong on pizza ever. That's a whole other thing. That's an abomination out of California. No, the funny thing is, I grew up having pizza every Friday night. Every Friday night. It was cheese pizza. And the reason being is I am Roman Catholic. And my parents were Baltimore Catechists, which is pre-Vatican II, is when they went through everything. So you didn't have meat on Friday. My dad hated fish. So what he would have was pizza or some other sort of Italian dish that didn't have meat in it. So every place where we went, when we moved to a new state, we would end up finding the best pizza in that city, if not that state, except California. Could never find good pizza in California. Ever.
Do you use a pizza oven or just your
I have a
standard
pizza
oven?
stone. I use a standard
Yeah.
oven, but I have a pizza stone, and I've had that pizza. My pizza stone right now is nearly black. I've had it for I've had it for probably close to 35 years.
That just gets super hot when you put your dough on there, so it cooks like if it was in a real oven.
Yes, that's what it is. So when I make the dough from scratch. And when I make the dough, I have two ovens. I have a proofing, a small countertop oven that we picked up because we realized that on some things we had a cold spot on the main oven. And with the oven and everything else, so when you're cooking it, once I get the proofing oven, so once I start the dough, which when I mean starting the dough, meaning I put the yeast and the sugar and the water all together. That's when I call starting the dough. I put the counter oven on proof, which is 80 degree, which is about 80 degrees, 80, 90 degrees, which allows for a good rise. And then I also, at the same time, turn the main oven on 425 degrees. So when you make a homemade dough for pizza dough, that dough needs to rise for an hour. So the oven ends up being on for an hour and 30 minutes before I even put the pie on the stone. So it is hot, hot. And that's going to be one of the best ways you can deal with it. And that's even with if you have a pizza oven. Even if you have a pizza oven, you want that oven to be hot. You need that oven to be hot. Whether you're doing a Chicago style, a St. Louis style, a New York style, or a Margarita or a Neapolitan style, you need to have that that dough or that oven needs to be hot. And the longer you have it hot, the better it is. So yeah, Catholic. So yeah, I all girls Catholic high school for 4 years. So yeah, I totally understand PNW completely. Yeah, a steel plate or an iron. I would say an iron plate more than a steel plate because of how the heat radiates. And when you look at fireplaces, when you look at some of the older ones that are designed to have a little bit of a heat transference, they have a piece of cast iron that has a covering on it at the back of the fireplace to help radiate the heat to the room. And it's not something that is installed in all fireplaces. So that's one of the ways to deal with it. So, but yeah, sometimes I'll do the proof overnight in the fridge. Especially if I make something called pizza bread, which is pizza dough, Swiss cheese, and pepperoni. Roll it out, fold it over, so it's like it looks a little bit like a calzone or stromboli, and then you put it in the oven for 415 minutes. Take it out, coat it with butter, a little bit of salt, put it back in for another 15 minutes. Really good. I have no idea where my mom got that recipe from.
Since you're talking about 80%, since you're talking about 80% pizzas, has anybody ever had those kinds? We used to make when I was a little kid, where you'd get them in like a box, and you'd have to mix the dough and then make it, and then or spread it out, and then it was like sauce, dough. It might have been cheese in the box, but I thought the box wasn't refrigerated, so I don't remember that.
There was Parmesan in a cylinder,
Mm-hmm.
a little can that you opened it up. It was a craft product, I do believe.
Yeah.
I mean, they were
pizza
super
aisle.
cheap. I remember eating them on like once in a while, and it didn't make a bad pizza. It was just really thin pizza or whatever.
Mm-hmm. It was like in the frozen food aisle, but it wasn't frozen. I remember those.
Pink Panther shared a video on Gilded, and I'm not sure what this is exactly.
That's a half a calzone, half a pizza, because those guys are crazy.
Yeah.
Or I guess, what are you saying? It's a stromboli if there's sauce in there? Or I guess there's no sauce in there, though.
There will be if it was set up as the pizza before they folded it over.
Oh, you know what it is? There's.
I see what's going on. That's Alfredo inside. It's tucked in, is what that appears to be. That's an interesting idea. I've never seen that. I've seen pasta on pizzas in other forms, so I've never seen one half rolled over like that. Is Pink out there tonight in the crowd?
Yep.
Like, elaborate on that, and where's that joint? Because that looks good.
It's in Vegas.
Also, there is a link in the description for the Gilded server. It's a place to kind of hang out, share pictures.
You have to go to the very top of the Gilded to find the link to this place. I kept looking at the bottom. You have to like scroll over the top.
Yeah, the link is in the I don't know where it is. Yeah. StreamYard links. But so it's a place hang out, chit chat with each other, share pictures, Gorn, videos, whatever. Just hang out. Like a forum, but slightly different. And then at the bottom of the screen there is the email and a link So if you want to send in pictures or have suggestions or comments, you can send them in that way. And let me, oh God, hold on, hang on. Let me copy, and I'll put in, wait, oh, now I'm screwing up here. I closed everything out. There we go. So I will put a link for the poll, which I forgot to put the link for the poll. So you can head over there and vote on the poll if you wish. And I'll pin it to the top. So if you haven't voted, you can go over and put your vote. Yep. I'll say combination is my kind of my go-to. I love the Papa Murphy's gourmet vegetarian, and then I'll add ham to it. It uses a white sauce, which it's kind of rich, so it's really good though. I think I have a pizza stone too. Mine isn't black. I've only had it probably 10 years.
I noticed a change probably about year 15 to 20. Just making sure that it's being used and things like that. And I had it when I was in college, and we did frozen pizza on it. And that helped, to be very honest, to season the pizza. There was some other stuff that I would put on there where I really wanted to have a hot oven. I would make sure that the stone was in there, and it definitely works. When I do some bread baking, I'll make sure that if I don't have a specific pan for like Italian loaves or something like that, or a French loaf, I'll be using the stone for that. And honestly, yeah, it does make a huge difference. We actually store it in the oven because it's so heavy. Two, unless I'm doing Christmas or Thanksgiving dinner, we just leave it there. It's just an easier way to store it.
Yeah, I'll leave mine in, but then my wife will take it out if she's baking something. So then I put it up on top of the cabinets. And then when I need it again, take it down, wipe it off, and throw it back in.
And I find that if you use a pastry cutter, which is like the handheld thing that you use for like cutting pastry dough and things like that.
A rotary cutter.
Not really the rotary cutter, but this is like a scraper kind of a thing, but it's also called like a pastry knife, or like a dough knife. It's a large blade. What it looks
just
like.
Now I get you. It's like a bench cleaning. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll use that for like scraping. I'll use that for scraping the stone. Never, and hopefully you've not done this. Never wash your stone.
Yeah,
if you need to really, really clean it, stick it in the oven when it's cold. Get it up to like 550, or even as somebody mentioned, like M. Graybill did, put it on the oven on the clean cycle. Use it that way to clean it, because you don't want that stone to get wet.
I usually just, wipe the crumbs off, and then if I put it away, I put it away. So, I was also going to say, I do like ham and pineapple pizza.
I'm sorry.
But I will say, in my defense, I am half pineapple myself. So, I think it was 40, somewhere around 45% Samoan and 5% Tongan. So,
I love a good pineapple, but not on pizza.
And I will say, you probably will not find a good pineapple in the States. You
don't. Oh my God.
If you go to Hawaii on your way back, get the pineapples from the airport. The duty free, or I guess it's maybe not duty free because it's U.S. state, but the pineapples that you can buy at the airport, they come in a little box. Used to be 2 of them. Last time I got them, there was 3 of them. But even if they're green, they're going to be sweet, and there's none of that sour that you get with the ones you buy here in the States.
Oh yeah, we
Uh,
used to get those in Puerto Rico. You used to get the really good pineapples, and so you had really good pina coladas. Um, yeah, that's that's the only time I'll drink rum is pina colada. Yeah, the pineapples in the tropics are a whole other level, and so good. What is my bunny rabbit doing?
so
I don't like any food that has sweet in it though, except for desserts. Like I don't like any kind of sweet and sour food or anything like that. So it's not so much the pineapple as like if I'm eating food, I don't want sweet stuff in the middle of it.
That makes sense.
pineapple is one of those foods where it just happened. When I think about it, my mouth waters. I have a Pavlovian response to pineapple. I love pineapple, and I'll start to slobber. Pink had posted some more fancy food pictures in the Instagram. Let me share them. It looks really good and looks like a little rich, but ooh, meatballs and then the Alfredo. It's a fat baby. It's
Crazy.
yeah.
So that's like some kind of container with the pasta. Is that gone through a baking cycle or something? Remember, I'm looking at something. It's like a huge square.
It's in bread. It's like half a loaf
Yeah.
of bread filled with cheese.
No
and
kidding.
Alfredo stuff. Yeah, it's like pouring out of the bread.
That looks
Healthy.
Get a straw with that. Straw and a spoon.
Nobody needs that much cheese.
yeah, it's not about need at this point. Ooh,
Definitely
I like
on
that.
I don't know who would want a half a loaf of bread that's hollowed out and then somebody fills it with all kinds of cheese and noodles. Who would want to eat that?
Cheese, yes. Noodles, no.
I'm in.
I
I'm
like
down.
the cheese and broccoli soup in a bread bowl.
No, I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
bread bowls are
I would definitely
great.
eat the shit out of that.
That reminds me, I need to make some bread bowls. I have a good recipe for that. And I'll drop the recipe for the pizza bread that my mom had made for years. The reason why I like that, and it was always good, then she made it. Like, literally, I have no idea where she got this recipe from. You can't substitute the Swiss cheese and you can't substitute the pepperoni, otherwise it doesn't cook correctly. But it works really, 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 really well. Where it'll freeze and it'll reheat in the microwave really well. So it's really good for when you're working or kids or things like that. So I'll make 3 or 4 of them at a time and put the majority of them in the freezer. And then either the other half will take one to work for lunch, or I'll eat them when I'm on my lunch. So where are the potatoes? The potatoes are in the grow pots right now. We are growing 2 types of potatoes, and we harvested one of the grow bags early and ended up with 4.5 pounds of potatoes. And they were really good.
I
And
saw a cool thing for you take dog food bags. So I don't know if you get something with rabbit food, but you take dog food bags and you kind of open them at the one end all the way, and then you roll them down. So, like they become a container basically. You fill them with like leaves. We don't have leaves here, but in places where you got leaves and stuff, and then a little bit of soil, and then you grow your potatoes in that. And then when they're all done, you just pick them up and they're basically in a bag right away.
Yeah, the bag growing works really well for the potatoes. We are really happy about that.
Will you do them that way?
We are. We're not doing with the potatoes. With the dog food bags, I actually purchased what they're called grow bags from gardeners.com, and they come in different sizes. And I think I picked up the 10 or 15 gallon size, and I'm using that right now for our for growing them at home, and I'm going to start using them also for what sort I'm thinking of garlic and have it grow and have them grow for garlic and see what I can get for that. And because I want to see if we can get a good garlic growing. The onions are coming in really nice. We had a weird growing season up here in the Pacific Northwest. Really weird. The plants are stunted because we didn't have that much rain, or we had not enough. It's not that we didn't have too much rain; it was so cold, where the rest of the country was hot.
Oh, my wife's flowers bloomed early this year.
Oh, nice.
Bloomed early and bloomed hard.
Mm-hmm.
Just we had a mild winter, and coming in the spring, the conditions were just right for everything that she had.
Oh, perfect. Glad to hear that. I think we've got that we can see 3 Roma out of the 2 Roma plants that we have. We have 3 Romas we have actual 3 Roma tomatoes growing. And for the San Marsanos, I have 3 San Marsanos growing that I can see. And we use the bunny poo and such, and when we clean their litter boxes or their areas out, that goes right into the garden. And oh my God, I did not expect rabbit poo to be so good for growing tomatoes, because the area that we put the rabbit stuff in from their litter and everything, the tomatoes are 3 times the size of all the other tomatoes plants.
Low nitrogen.
Yes.
They used to grow rabbits when I was a kid for that. Like, I don't think we even eat them hardly as much as just had poop coming out of them for the garden.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, high nitrogen, and it's not. That's what I'm thinking of. It's not hot, in the sense that you can put it directly out on the garden, whereas.
You don't have to balance the pH or add something else to
Correct.
it. Cut it down, cut it in.
Horse poop, you got to put in a pile and let it kind of burn or whatever.
No, you don't have to with rabbit poop.
No, I'm saying with horse poop.
Oh yeah, with all the others you do.
And stuff. Yeah.
Every single one of the others you do. With chicken, with duck, horse, any of the others, you have to cure it for at least lilies are taller than you. Wow. Well, I don't know how tall you are.
Problem with the rabbits that we had is we never had the kind that laid the Cadbury eggs.
Me neither. I love my 2. Well, unfortunately, the smaller of the 2 that we had passed away on the 21st. We think he got into something, and he ain't something, because he will do that. And he went into gastric stress, and he was coming out of it, but we think it was too much. Now, this was the 4th time he had gone into gastric stress. He was also 13 years old. And his other one is a 15 years old. So we have a new bunny. Her name is Daffodil, and she is a 10.5 pound New Zealand. The only suggestion I would have on a brass tumbler is to see what Roy from Weapons Outfitter is using. He switched to a different one because of lead mediation. He actually switched them over. So he had been using one method, and then he switched over to the other. And he saw his lead levels drop, because he actually actively gets tested.
Yeah, I haven't got that far. All I've done is deprime, collect brass and deprime. I haven't cleaned any of my brass yet.
Yeah, Gabriel, they are old bunnies. This Labor Day weekend, we would have had Felix for 10 years, and we will have Oscar for 10 years. So that's the reason why we know how old they are. And we were told their estimated ages were 3 and 5 when we got them.
Another place to the Georgia Shooting Connection. Bunch of pretty cool guys that will answer. They do reloading chats, and will answer any questions people have.
Two others that I'm familiar with, Bob, and one of them is on Wednesday nights, is the one on Chris from the 740s channel.
Yeah.
Some of those Georgia Shooting Connection fellows are in there, as well as, he's going to be transplanting himself from Florida somewhere else. Echo, and that channel is Echo's Reloading Chamber. They also have chats.
Florida. He's only moving in Florida to a different part of Florida, right?
Yeah. Well, that's not. Yeah, I'm not going to speak to that. Don't know.
But yeah, any of them are really good guys that are really helpful and willing to answer questions people have. All right.
Yeah, that's the only reason why I know anything about the reloading, because I've looked into it, but I would be looking into it for shotgun, and there are some supply issues even before 2020 on that, dealing with the spacers. That's been an issue with it, as well as acquiring slugs, because that's what I prefer to shoot.
Yeah, I bought. I've got the Lee 4-hole turret press, and I bought it just kind of at the beginning of the cough, and when everything disappeared.
Yeah.
So I kind of just put everything on hold until I could get primers. I've got brass, and I've got projectiles. I just need primers. Well, I bought some primers. Not what I still really didn't know what I was looking for or doing, and I got Magnum small pistol primers. So, which now that I have a 44 Magnum, I can eventually maybe reload for those. But so I figured, I'll just ended up just putting everything on hold. So anytime I go to the range, I'll grab any brass I can find, and I will not drag out tonight. The brass goblin will not come out. I did that on the chat and didn't realize. It wasn't even thinking, So I'm dragging a big box around on the concrete floor, and then all the big bags of the brass, and I was told it was very loud.
It was an experience.
Damn, I think you're in if I remember, you're not, you might want to, if you have the chance, follow what Sporting Systems does down in Vancouver. They've been starting to get CCI primers in on a semi-regular basis again, if you're looking out for primers. And this is for anybody else who's in Western Washington or in northwestern Oregon. They are actually getting primers for the commercial market again, which is good.
Yeah, I wish I lived they were closer to me. I would go there. I do, the shop I go to, I do like, which they're the East County Guns, which there's 3 shops, 2 in Washington, 1 in Idaho. The one that I went to, they were great, and I loved it, and that's who I would send people to. And then they had a big turnover of people, and they suck now. So I started going to one of their other shops, which is just like the the shop used to be. And so they're good with customers.
It matters.
It's disappointing because they were great with customers, and then when I'm standing there and listening to them not be great with customers, and they're I'm not going to send friends there.
Yeah.
But luckily, their other shop is still really good. So I go to the one that's over there instead of down there. I forget what town it's in, but it's the same distance. So, a half-hour drive either way.
Yeah.
So it's not a big deal. And
Best remedy for stomach pain depends on whether or not how close to sleep you are. What I've always done with stomach pain is either peppermint, and I do mean true peppermint, or chamomile tea, and doing it as a iced tea, or like have it so that it's cool or room temperature. Something that I've always done. I've done that for we used that as a remedy for a couple of my cousins when they had not colic, but when the babies were upset and just fussy and everything else, and it helps. But do not do peppermint before you go to sleep because it relaxes specific muscles and you'll end up with acid reflux. So
I thought you were going to say he'd poop himself.
no, not that. There's other stuff that does that. Yeah, that's the thing. But peppermint, there used to be, I've had girlfriends with horrific morning sickness. And one of the things that kept one of them from going into the hospital was this peppermint that my dad had found years ago. And it's called King Leo. And it's actually, I believe it's from England. I'll have to double check. And it's this great peppermint that's nearly pure peppermint. And it's like a hard candy and really, really good. Yeah, it's King Leo, and it's peppermint sticks. I'll drop the link in private chat because I'm not signed into YouTube, so I won't be able to post otherwise.
Does he have food poisoning?
If it's food poisoning, will show up in 24 to 36 hours from when you've eaten something.
He's saying he needs to flush his system. He's on day 2.
Oh.
What if you swallow a 9mm round and then everything hates 9mm, so it'll just flush everything in front of it through?
It comes and goes.
It's medical advice. I don't actually swallow it.
Any dairy you need to stay away from. No tea. Technically, chamomile is not a tea; it's an infusion.
I wouldn't drink any dairy if you're feeling bad.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. I agree on that. Yeah, NSAIDs are really bad on your liver and such. They can, if you want to be very, very careful, but that's going into medical device and that's going into other stuff that is not appropriate for this platform. I would, you know what? If it's been going on for more than 36 hours, you need to talk to a medical professional. That's my opinion, as an opinion as it is as a layperson. Long-standing pain when it goes on for a long time, yeah, that's something else. Yeah, same thing. Peppermint. Peppermints are one of the better things. Yeah, go to Walmart. You know, like those little the little ones you see around the holidays, the little red ones with the
All you gotta do is go to the doctor's office and they'll have them for free. Grab
that too. Even some of the dentists will have it for free too. So, and yeah, it's
Go to a doctor's office for a free peppermint, but because you don't want to just hork a free peppermint, hang out with the doctor and give them the benefit of listening to your story or whatever, and then you're in it for the free peppermint, but you'll get a doctor's advice, I guess, also.
yeah, it's anything longer than a certain time frame. You really want to have it checked out, because there can be some complications that show up with it. So,
Well, now he's saying it's a pain level of 2 or 3, very minor. When you're eating things like rock candy, do you lick it first and let it dissolve, or do you just swallow the rock candy whole? Because that could make
I wouldn't swallow it whole, but that's me. I'm weird.
No, I'm asking him. Like, if he ate a big chunk of rock candy by swallowing it whole, then that could cause pain.
Yeah, it's minor. Here's the thing: appendicitis can be minor pain too for a long period of time. It's for something the whole thing with pain. If it extends more than, like I said, if it extends more than 36 to 48 hours, there's a reason why you're having pain, and you really might want to get that checked out.
I feel like if it's a 2 to 3 level pain, then just step on your hand or something. That'll be a 4 level pain, and you'll forget about the 2 or 3 level.
Or like slamming the car door on your thumb or on your finger.
Well, that
thing.
doesn't work anymore because the car doors are aluminum now. It's
Yeah.
not the big 2-door steel doors.
True on that.
What about doing like just like, I don't want to say yoga, but like whatever you call, like not calisthenics, but like some kind of exercises. Get up and do some like slow burpees or some slow, not jumping jacks, but like, just bend up and down, not fast like an exercise, but just to, because sometimes you just get clogged up in there. You just give your
Relieve the pressure or the stress that's going on.
Oh, he says I thought he said he does feel bloody. He said he doesn't feel bloody. What about a lot of sci-fi movies? You're floating in a tank. How often, if you had a big tank of water to float in, how often when you're sick would you be like, put me in that giant tank? Because there's like, every so often I'm like, if I had that option, I'd be in the giant warm tank of water.
I'd hang out there all the time.
Don't be in the pool.
You might as well have an open booking. I'll show up. Tag it.
He needs a hot tub.
Ooh. It's about the right time of day for that, too.
Yes, it is. There's always a right time of the day for a hot tub.
Eat enchiladas right before you go in. You won't have any problems.
True.
I don't feel real good. Let me have some enchiladas. I'm going to the hot tub.
Yep.
I know this is bad. My grandfather was Polish, and he was lactose intolerant. So every time that he felt constipated, he would grab himself a glass of milk and go to the bathroom with a newspaper. So
yeah, use it like a tool.
Mm-hmm.
Has Warsaw tried that? Have you tried eating a newspaper?
Why don't you try reading the biography of Nancy Pelosi?
My God, does she actually have one?
I drank a 5th one time on accident, and woke up and didn't feel so good, so I chugged some milk and cleared everything out.
Mm-hmm. It will do that. It will definitely do that.
I think the answer is talk to a medical professional and not people on a podcast on YouTube.
Which I think we've said how many times now?
Well, I don't feel like that has any kind of right. What are you talking about? I don't understand.
Welcome to Dr. Foss's Late Night Diagnosis Show. What ails you?
Do you have pain? Well, life is pain. There you go. There's your advice.
Who else needs cured? You tell us.
Should we start selling a tonic, Foss?
Oh, snap.
Dr. Foss's tonic.
Dr. Foss's Fix You Up. For sure.
Peppermint tonic.
It's just Ballistol.
He goes to the doctor.
Good for joints.
All them free peppermints, puts them in a water bottle and a drop of Ballistol.
That'd probably clear you out. Ballistol.
Helps to keep you regular.
Just doesn't say what you're keeping regular.
So now you're all talking about something that, anyway, maybe not. One time I went to the, what do you call it, like the pharmacist, an all-night place that was open, like a Walgreens or whatever, and I went to a Walgreens looking for, I forget what it's called now. What do you call that stuff? Ipecac, to make you throw up, because I had a dog had swallowed something and I wanted some of that. And you can't buy it anymore. Like back when I was a little kid, you could just buy that like anywhere. Now you have to go to the pharmacist. So I had to go, and this was years ago. Like you had to go to the one pharmacist that was still open in the middle of the night instead of just regular Walgreens. And then I didn't need a prescription, but I had to have a pharmacist give it to me. And I think I could probably only buy one bottle for whatever reason.
Bulimia.
Quick substitute is hydrogen peroxide. That will help to induce vomiting.
Yes, it will. Really, really well. And it'll induce the
Little
vomiting.
bit.
It'll induce the vomiting faster on the dog than the Ipecac will.
Yep. That's true.
Because I've had to do that on the dog before.
I've had a couple people tell me they use hydrogen peroxide as mouthwash.
Yeah, you could.
Yep, it debreathes, loose flesh, that kind of thing. They'll definitely swab out.
Yeah, if you haven't tried that before, try it. You don't just do it. You put a little bit in water, and then it's a different clean feeling. So try it sometime if you're curious.
You could also give the dog Hawaiian pizza. That'll do it.
Oh, wow. But the mess afterwards, man. I don't know. Better than the combo, though, for sure. Is that green pepper? Hey, black olives.
Or chocolate. You will be cleaning a lot of things up after the chocolate.
A chocolate pizza? No.
No, chocolate to the dog. Had a dog
maybe it's death you'll be cleaning up. That's like toxic really quickly with dogs.
Yeah, I can. The one that I had was a Great Pyrenees, so her consumption of chocolate, which was not something we gave her intentionally, but she broke open a sealed box that was wrapped in cellophane, that was a glass jar sealed with the chocolate wrapped in foil, and she got it and ate it because she smelled the chocolate. She was obsessed with it. The same way that my sister's dog was obsessed with eating anything and everything that was, I think that dog was a pica. It ate everything. I mean everything.
That's the way my beagle was. You know, you just wait to see what he pooped out. You know, bra straps, shoes.
The man's best friend. He's eating bra straps for you.
The cat would work with him. The cat would knock stuff off the counter to him, and then he would eat it.
Oh, nice.
That sounds like a Disney movie.
I bet you won't eat this, knocks it over. Oh, shit. I bet you won't eat this, knocks it over. Oh, shit.
He ate half an onion one time.
Ooh, that's not good either. The lilies would like tear up dogs and other
half a
onion.
Yeah, most animals can't eat and I think it's the allium family is what it is. So onions, garlics, things like that, they can't have.
Your cat Garfield was trying to kill. What was the dog's name?
Odie.
Yeah.
Odie.
No, they were. I've shown pictures of those two. I don't know if I have them on this computer.
Like here,
but they
eat
were
this onion.
They were best friends. You know, slept together. Would hang out together.
Let's torment the humans. See what we can get them to panic and freak out over.
Well, the cat loved bread. Would always get into the bread. We had to buy a bread box to keep the cat out of the bread.
Nice.
But he was a good cat, you know.
Would he cut the bread in half and then fill it full of cheese and cat food?
I would, if I was eating something with bread, I would give him little pieces, you know.
This dog gets so spoiled now. If I make rice, she has like a fit if I don't give her a chunk of the rice. Because I got that rice maker now. So she's like, oh, I'm smelling rice, which means I'm eating rice later, or else I'm going to have a fit.
Oh my God, Gunpowder Beauty. My sister's second dog that they had, her and her husband had, if you didn't keep the bedroom doors closed or the bras put away, he actually figured out how to open the dresser drawer or the bag that I would have when I would go visit them and babysit. he would grab my bra, and then the next thing I would know is that I would see my bra and the dog go running out of the house into the backyard. Oh my God, that would be did that many, many, many times. My sister
Which is
thought it was
worse, a dog that eats bra straps or a dog that does that whole, below the waist hello consistently kind of thing?
the dog that eats the bra straps
All right, then.
because bras are expensive.
Yeah, you should be able to teach a dog not to be annoying to people.
But bras are, I think, for any decent bra, the cost of them is, I look at, one, I wait for them to be on sale. Secondly, good bras run about $40 to $60 a piece. And they're only going to last, if you're lucky, if you replace them when they tell you to replace them or when the stuff starts wearing out, they only last about 18 months. Very frustrating to deal with them.
I feel like the state could probably regulate those better.
I do not want to see what would happen if the state regulated bras. Would not want to see that happen. I would go back to making my own corsets. Which I can tell you, I have concealed a full-size 1911 in a corset. It is possible.
That must have been real comfy.
Actually, it's not bad when you think about it because it holds it in nice. And Deanie Adams is the one company. They actually have one of the better leggings for women for carrying. They actually have pockets. They have real pockets. I mean, pockets that you can stick a full-size AR mag in. They're so good. And they actually have real belt loops. So that's also another important thing. Well, yeah, women's clothing sucks when you're trying to carry a firearm. Just steak and beef noodles in 2 separate days. Well, I would actually, for a Warsaw Patriot, I would want to know how good those beef and noodles were.
Has he considered not being a weakling? I ate a steak and my tummy hurts.
Yeah. Well, no, don't take a break from the meats. The noodles could have been a problem too. Depends on how they were prepared.
The gluten in the noodles is probably more of an issue than meat, right? For most people.
I would say yes, generally. The gluten, or it's some of the other compounds and everything else. Because you have to remember, most of the wheat fields are treated with Monsanto Bayer products at this point.
Oh, I was just thinking from the going straight to sugar, because you can eat too much meat and have a problem, but meat itself doesn't break down and give people problems very often, as far as people being allergic to it. I mean.
Oh, as people being allergic to it, yeah, people are more likely to be allergic to gluten or one of the other parts of, mostly pork and beef. You can lose enzymes that break down the food that you consume. If you do not eat red meat, and I know this, and it's confirmable fact, so this is not something or conjecture or anything else. If you do not eat red meat once a month, you will lose the enzymes. And the same thing with noodles. Anything that's left, Gunpowder Butte is right. If noodles are left out too long before you consume them, because of how they're made and everything else, yeah, that can also cause a problem. So it may not be the meat, could be how they were prepared. There's a lot of stuff that goes along with it. And so it's something to be aware of. Digestive health is a huge thing. And if your body's overstressed, that also can cause it and not actually be the food that you ate. It could just be stress that you have currently going on that's causing it. That's causing the problem.
So this is a picture of the dog and cat that we had.
Oh, they're adorable.
Yeah, I got the cat because the dog was kind of rambunctious.
Mhm.
So we wanted to get him a friend, and we went to the pound, and I heard all the people working at the pound complain about this cat um, that was making a mess. And so I said, I'll take him. And from day one, they were friends.
Partners in crime.
Yep, and they both had to put him down the same week. Cat had cancer, and the
Aw.
dog had neurological problems. He just wore out,
Yeah.
couldn't walk in a straight line, and so that was a rough week.
Yeah, that would be. Last week was not a good week for me, or the week before when we lost Felix. But losing pets are never fun. Definitely not fun. But I looked at it as we had Felix and Oscar. We had from a animal hoarder from a friend of ours, and so we know that they had a very good life. They got a lot of treats and everything else.
It was tough because with the dog, he was first, where
Mhm.
he would wake up sleeping and he'd wake up crying, you know,
Aw.
just because he was in pain.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to take him, and then I did a lot of reading, which really helped. That the dog doesn't think about tomorrow, doesn't think about yesterday, only thinks about what's going on right now.
Mhm.
And he was in pain, and it was basically becoming constant pain. And when he'd walk down the hallway, he couldn't walk a straight line. He would end up going at an angle till he hit the wall,
Mhm.
and then kind of slide along the wall. And so I took him to the vet, talked to the vet, and he's like, yeah, I could give him something to ease his pain, but I cannot make him better.
Right.
And so, that's had to make the decision.
And it's not an easy decision to make, and they will not tell us that they are in pain, because our pets want to, especially the dogs, on a lot of it, want to. What's the word I'm thinking of? They want to please us, and because they want to please us, they're not going to give the impression that there is something wrong. And we have to read what they're not saying to us. And
Yeah, and that was I had to come to terms with.
Mhm.
I didn't want to let go,
Yeah.
and I had to make the decision for him, not for me.
Yeah. And it's not an easy, and to me, it's never been an easy decision. I've had to put 4 animals who were no longer in the ability that were in pain. And it's like I have to either, my wanting them to be around is not the reason to keep them there because they're in pain.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not easy, and I've to lose 2 at the same time. Oh, I feel for you on that. That's the reason why we got Oscar Daffodil, and granted, she's 3.5 times size, 3.5 times bigger than him. But he was missing Felix, and we didn't want him to grieve that way. So
Yeah, and the cat had stomach cancer.
mhm.
Stopped eating, and so it still will get to me sometimes.
Yeah.
And we went when we bought this house. A little bit after we bought this house, there were a bunch of shelters that get together and then do basically a big drive to find homes for pets up in
Mhm.
Puyallup. And my wife wanted to go, so I'm like, okay. I didn't want another dog. I wasn't ready.
Mhm.
And so we went and looked at, their dogs are plenty of nice dogs. There was one beagle, and I wanted the beagle, but it was an older beagle, and somebody took the beagle.
Mhm.
And so my wife's like, "Well, what about this one?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, whatever. I don't, whatever." And so we ended up getting Jack Russell, who is a great dog, which I'm glad my wife got him. He's a great love dog. And that's it. It was hard to let go, which I haven't completely let go. But it's Jack is a great dog and needed a home, and we
Mhm.
gave him that good home. And
Do you make that dog watch Frasier?
no, he watches the squirrels in the backyard. He's a squirrel missile.
I feel like there's an obligation to make a dog watch whatever kind of media exists with their breed in it, so that they understand how they're expected to behave in our culture.
Yeah, I am not watching the one shit, I can't remember the name of it now. With the rabbits.
Monty Python and the Search for the Holy Grail.
No,
How about-
that I would. That I would.
How about Cat Shit 1? Have you seen that?
Yeah, I have seen Cat Shit 1, and I'm actually
Are you
getting
talking about Lupus? Like the 70s?
Watership Down.
Watership Down.
Oh, Watership Down, all right.
Oh, is that sad or something?
It
I
is
don't know if that is
very
sad.
dark.
It is very dark. I
It
haven't
is
read the book. I've only seen
very dark. The
cartoon.
book the cartoon is very true to the book, but more so. The book is even more, because obviously you can do more in the book than you can in a movie. Yeah, I have seen Cat Shit 1. I'm actually having Cat Shit 1, figuring out how to etch it onto one of my rifles.
Let me say a quick hello to CNT Designs and Arms. And
Have you guys
Michael
also
Dunn.
Cat Shit 1? You know what we're talking about?
Mhm.
No, I'm asking everybody else because it's old.
Okay.
Have
Yeah.
you
I
all
haven't
seen it?
heard.
What we're talking
I'm not
about?
familiar with it.
This is from I'm gonna say 2007 to 2009 era, and it was
Yeah.
one of the first attempts by maybe somebody being an artist, experimenting or doing something as a school project in 3D graphics. I don't know what it probably emulates a video game or something, or a cartoon that I'm not familiar with, but it's
It's an
animated.
anime and a manga. There's a whole story involved with it, and it's kind of fun to see. To take a look at what they've done with it. It's
Yeah. Oh, is there
it-
more than the original? If you haven't seen it, just type in Cat Shit 1 to YouTube, and it's 30 seconds or something, right? You probably
there's
can't watch
actually even longer. There used to be a 2 or 3 minute long little video with
it.
it.
It was supposed to be a trailer to let's make this a movie, or let's do something with
Mhm.
this, and then
Yep.
I don't think it ever happened though.
I'm not sure what happened fully with it, but I do know there was some more work that was done on it. But I don't know all the details. The other half, husband's asleep right now. Otherwise, I'd ask him the details on it, because he's the one who told me about it. But Cat Shit 1 is fun. It's cute.
Oh snap! There's a 21-minute one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll have to watch this. I'll put a link to it if people want to check it out.
I'm hungry.
I'm eating.
What is the most 2A pizza there is? What's the most Second Amendment pizza?
Whatever you want.
One without infringements.
Oh snap!
I'm going to say whatever somebody wants, whether it's even the abomination of pineapple or what have you. I'm just not
The-
making it.
The short I did where I put the pizza toppings on the pineapple and ate it. That was really good.
That's not. Yeah, that's not.
Roasting that pineapple was
And
so
that was
good.
hilarious, man. I'm so glad you made that. Laughing from the beginning to the end.
I finished that pineapple.
Grilled pineapple, so good.
Well, speaking of the grill, because we're back on the pizza in a way, glad we got back to this. Anybody do their pizza on the grill?
Tried it, couldn't do it because my pizza stone's too big. I have to get a smaller pizza
Nah,
stone.
not a stone, Sharon. Just straight on the grill.
No, I haven't. Not that way.
Do your dough. Spread her
Mhm.
thin. Get it out there. You got the grill that's been, raging hot. And just before you put the dough on, brush the grill grate with some olive oil. And you go on. Then you flip after about 2 minutes because you're talking about something that's like 500 degrees or so.
Yeah.
So 2 minute flip. Then brush it with whatever you want. Top it with whatever you want. Put the lid down. Come back 3 minutes later. You got and if you want to run like smoked chips or whatever in it at the same time, there's going to be a little bit of that flavor that comes through anyway, like every hamburger or dog on the grill kind of thing. Super fast, really easy, and we used to do it at parties. Put out the ingredients kind of thing because it's also one of those things where people don't do that or they haven't heard of doing it before.
Yeah.
So yeah, grab a recipe and give it a shot. It's fun.
I will definitely. Because we want to try to see it, especially when it's been so hot up here, with when we've had the heat wave and everything else coming up. And hang on a second, I got to deal with something with work. Right back.
I wonder if they've ever experimented with putting up a sign that says no heat waves, or perhaps a heat wave free zone.
We could tax it.
Tax it.
That's a good idea.
Heat seems to be pretty well connected. It breaks down barriers all over the place. It's kind of a DGAF kind of thing.
Okay, got question answered. I'm sorry, DJ. What did you ask me?
What's up?
No, I just posed a general question. Pizza on the grill. There's it.
Yeah. Well, definitely. Oh, the whole thing. For pizza, it's like, yeah, it's something. And then with the heat wave, with everything else that was happening up here, because majority of Western Washington does not have air conditioning in their homes.
Oh Lord, we just put in a heat pump in June. Yeah,
Lucky.
Yeah,
I love
smart.
it. Can't tell what temperature it is outside. Don't care what temperature is outside because it is 72 degrees inside.
Yeah, thankfully my sister bought us a portable last year when there was that massive heat wave, and so we've had that going up in the attic area, and we just priced out a heat wave, an HVAC and a generator. So, yeah, that's going to be a painful thing to put in, but need to put it in. So we got them. But
Yeah, that's what we ran a few portable air conditioners, which was okay.
mhm.
Couldn't quite handle it.
Yeah.
So
What's a
yeah, Blackstone. It's a flat top grill,
Mhm.
Is
like
it just for
a
pizza?
restaurant. You know, a restaurant flat top, like a
No, I think
propane
I've
version
seen
of
it.
that.
It looks like a funny looking. Well, it's for outside, and is
Yeah.
it just for pizza then, or is it for other things too?
No,
It's for other things.
whatever you can cook on the, like a restaurant. Their big steel flat iron that they cook on. It's a kind of a portable, do-it-yourself home jobber.
What does that cost? It's like $40 or $400.
They're probably like $350.
Yeah, and they
Okay.
use propane as the heat source.
I saw a video today. I don't know if it was serious or not. I was scrolling through. I don't know if it was Instagram or YouTube, but they wrapped double stuffed Oreos in bacon and smoked them.
Ugh.
And they swore they were good. I don't think I will try it. But,
Just
I've
use
had-
the stuff.
I've had deep fried Oreos. They can be good. But wrapped in bacon, even I would draw the line on contaminating bacon that way.
how's it going, Woods?
I love when I jumped in. People are talking about bacon. And just saying.
So, are you going to eat an Oreo wrapped up in bacon, and then is it deep fried or they
Smoked. They put it in a smoker.
Raw
No.
bacon wrapped around an Oreo and then smoked? I'm not
Yeah.
going near that.
Yeah, it's a big no.
That'll give you a Warsaw Patriot tummy issues.
I'll give it that.
Exactly. Is that what Warsaw was eating?
I like Oreos.
That'd be a 4 on the scale
I like
of pain.
I'm in.
Hold on, Wood. Check in.
Yeah, I'm in. I'll do it.
All right.
Do it.
I've been to a buffet, a sushi buffet, and it had raw bacon sushi.
I've had that at a buffet in a hotel in Japan. Got my niece to eat it because I told her it was boiled, and then got her to eat the squid because I told her it was a different kind of boiled bacon.
No, it's just me.
Joe ate the bacon. He didn't die.
Then she asked me why do they boil everything.
That
I can
was just,
understand sticking an Oreo in batter and maybe eating that because that's kind of like a deep fried Twinkie or something. I guess that's a thing.
yeah, it is.
I deep fried a Three Musketeers bar one time. It was so good, but so rich.
Mm-hmm.
Does it stay as a bar inside, or is it just like weird?
It stayed bar-ish, but kind of gooey bar. So
I mean, you can eat it. It's not like it just explodes into goo.
no,
Do you freeze it before you do that?
I didn't. You probably should, but I didn't.
Oh, you mean like put it in there frozen? That makes sense, huh? Then it barely gets thawed.
You had me a deep fried.
Because I used to have a Fry Daddy Junior. That's what I used. My goal was to do a cheeseburger, to deep fry a cheeseburger, and I never did it.
I know that's a thing because I've seen people do it on YouTube.
Yeah,
All they
I
do
haven't
is
done a deep fried
cheese
cheeseburger. Deep fried. Never did any of the fair food, the carnival food deep fried. But ate it, but never made it.
I've
So-
never even did it. I've never
I'm-
been to these places, or if I did, I'm not paying $5 for a fried thing or whatever. So I never.
I'm curious on the deep fried butter, but I don't want to eat a stick of butter.
Okay,
Maybe
so
one bite
state
of it.
fairs and butter and what's going on across the river in Iowa. They do butter sculptures. I mean, it's like butter, right? And I never thought of that state as being a dairy one. Usually, Wisconsin, that sort of deal. But right next door to Wisconsin, Minnesota. So the Minnesota State Fair has the most fried on a stick foods, and it's one of those things they pride themselves in of any other fair globally. So on not
That's
just the
not surprising.
promenade, but in aisles that shoot off from where most people are, you will have vendor after vendor after vendor. Now, are the common offerings there? Yeah, you can get your corn dog. I'm in, but you can get variations on that. So every candy bar you can imagine, all the frozen treats you can imagine, pretty much anything. Roll Captain Crunch around ice cream and do like Olay. You've got a version of Mexican ice cream, fried ice cream, right? I don't know how people. I
I think
don't know how
I've
people
seen
like.
fried Coca-Cola or something, right?
Yeah.
I'd be into that.
I think I've seen a show about all that fair stuff that they fry. I would eat the
Diners,
butter if it was like
drives, and something.
if they made the Amish butter where it's like being made actually into butter right then, that's probably pretty crazy. And then if you fry that,
Oh, that's good. Fresh butter that way. Oh my god, that is so good. I think
Done better.
yesterday or today, depending on the time zone and everything else, was National S'more Day.
oh really?
Yes.
It was this week was National Guide Dog or Assistance Animal Week.
Oh,
so
fun.
I think this is a National Assistance Animal Week right now. Thanks to Pets for Vets for reminding me about that.
Not
Yeah.
fair food was fun when you're young, and you had no worries. We used to get
That-
Indian fry bread. It was so good.
I never ate any of that stuff. I've never had what's the other one? Funnel bread or something people talk about. Funnel cake?
Funnel cake. I haven't had funnel cake or elephant ear. I go for the Fisher scones and the cow chip cookies.
I've never had any of that stuff.
The scones is right. He's legit.
I feel like I need to
Puyallup
go
Bear,
to this.
they can try to rename it all they want. It's a Puyallup Bear. I don't care what they want to think.
Yeah,
Washington.
the Indian fry bread is different from the other items, so completely different. I don't even know how to. It's the best thing I can describe it. Indian fry bread is probably the closest thing to sopapilla, and that's really good. Oh, donuts! You know what? I need to make donuts tomorrow morning.
I spent the last 3 years working for the Puyallup tribe at their
Mhm.
school, and every Friday they have the fry bread that they make right there.
Oh my god, that's so good.
They have they literally get out the bricks and everything, and they like have a fire, like they have a fire pit that's built into the school. It
You
was
should have ate some.
1 million pounds of that.
It's so good.
I have a pretty much standing philosophy. If somebody's grandma made bread and is handing it to me, I'm eating it.
Yes.
Agreed.
So have you made donuts out of the tubes of biscuits, even though it's cheesy?
I have not, but my sister did one day. My sister did once, and not bad.
Yeah, they're not great or nothing, but that's what they used to give us in Scouts all the time. Here's like 100 tubes of biscuits. Go entertain yourselves with this Dutch oven full of fry grease, and then we'd sit there making donuts until we're off that.
So
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to do the fry grease thing, but you got this. You have a can of tube biscuits, and you're like wondering what to do, and you want to scratch that Asian itch. Check this: cut them in half, roll them into balls, roll them thin, and you've got dumplings, like the skin for dumplings. It's like
Yes.
that easy. Yep.
Oh, that's right.
What, and then boil them?
Well, I mean, if
Steam.
you want to get steam, but you could also do the pot sticker variety where you steam them out, finish prime, flash prime at the end. Like,
Well,
yeah, super
We're
easy.
not steam nothing when we were little kids. I don't even know if we understood that concept when we were little.
Well, we were doing it in Scouts. I'm talking about doing it as a grown person.
Oh, I don't know.
I've used them to make the pizza cake.
Fair.
I think it was 5 layers of pepperoni pizza, and it comes out like looking like a cake.
Oh, monkey bread's monkey bread's really good with canned biscuits, as Michael says. That's really good for that. I haven't done monkey bread in a while. The other thing is, if you ever want to try to make cinnamon rolls from scratch, I strongly recommend Reed Verman's the Pioneer one, but realize that you're going to be making a gross of cinnamon rolls, meaning you're going to be making close to 140 some odd cinnamon rolls, because that's how big the recipe is, and cutting it down is not easy. So
Speaking of cinnamon rolls, my wife does the weirdest thing. You know the middle, most delicious part? Before me, she would throw that away.
It's not always
What?
That's not always the best part.
I'm just saying. But now that I'm in her life, I can go ahead and eat that for her, but she just hands it to me at the end.
Throw it away. That's crazy.
sometimes it can be undercooked.
Yeah, exactly. You're talking about the big giant kind, right? That are huge. Then they can be goo. I don't like them.
Yeah.
It depends on how much frosting and how they did all that. I mean, it can be amazing in there too. But
Man, those things have cinnamon in them. Chuck the whole deal.
Maybe it wasn't perfectly cooked, but yeah.
I gotta be. They gotta have nothing chocolate. They gotta have nothing cherry and nothing with frosting on it before I'm in cinnamon. Unless I'm getting punished on how the cinnamon roll. I got
Well, everybody's going to hate this, but I like raisins in them. Cinnamon rolls.
It's one way to keep them.
Son, do you have a fever?
I really regret not eating dinner tonight.
Then I will make sure not to. Yeah, cinnamon rolls were good. I made them right after the lockdown started 2 years ago, and I'm like, oh, we'll just try to make it, because I was getting into a baking fiend mood, and I'm like, I want cinnamon rolls. So found a recipe, obviously a Pioneer Woman's recipe, and started making them, and did not realize that I ended up making 11 tins of cinnamon rolls. So the neighbors got some. It was a really great way to meet the neighbors too.
Well, that's why people used to bake, right? back in the olden days when that was more of like a tradition when you moved in? So that
Yeah. So when we had our the neighbors moved next door to us when after we had already been in this house, we saw them. They moved in, and we saw that they had 2 little kids. So husband and I brought over a bottle of wine for them, and yeah, it worked really good at breaking the ice and everything. So yeah, homeschooled science and math. Yeah, baking is definitely science. So, and with math, it's actually one of the better ways to teach kids math. Um, with that, there's one of the chefs in California who actually has done a whole program on that. So if people want to, for homeschooling and everything else, there's a whole process that they have to show them how to do it and how to increase and decrease a recipe, because that's pure math. And they
Well,
show you.
there's a saying that baking is a science, cooking is an art form.
Yes, I would agree with that.
There's
Definitely.
also a thing that let's see, educational eating should be in every school. I wish it was with mine.
The last tribal school I worked at, they would bring the chefs from the casino,
Hmm.
and bring them down to the school, and then they're doing the pathways things. It's kind of neat that they're getting the native kids to work in the, like, while they're still in high school, they learn how to do cooking stuff from the world-class chefs that the Puyallup tribe hired.
Nice. That is awesome.
Like, that's just good stuff for everybody. Like, that's just
Yeah.
a great idea.
Yeah, it is. And it's like, it's the whole thing of the old home ec, or how to have a business or something like that, how to balance a checkbook, how to handle how to read a damn contract and know what you're signing. I mean, that is really, in my opinion, besides firearm safety, along with fire safety, meaning how to operate a fire extinguisher and things like that, is what really should be taught in schools. I mean, give the kids the startup of what they need for life, not as factory drone workers that it was set up to be originally.
Yeah, I'm a special ed teacher, so yeah, we could go off for a long time on that. What should be taught and what is taught.
Hmm. The worst thing that happened was
How about teaching them how to read? Make sure you teach them how to read at a very young age. Don't wait until 6, 7. I keep getting told that, like, kids don't want to learn to read until, no, that's silly. Start with phonics. Phonics works.
My son could, I stayed home with him during
That's
the days
awesome.
when he was young, he could read and write 3-letter words when he was 3. And when he was 4, he could do more and then write sentences, kind of choppy, short sentences. And he, before he hit, I think when he was in kindergarten, he was doing multiplication. I would just make it a game. That was the games we'd play. We go to the store, we do numbers, or as we're walking around the store. For him, I realized one day he had a toy that had letters and would say the letters, and I realized he knew some of the letters from playing with the toy, and just kind of tried to keep it fun and went off of that, and he picked up on it.
A lot of the Marines I know 4-letter words also.
Read is a 4-letter word. Kids' minds, in my opinion, are just sieves. They will just soak it up if you give it to them. And I saw this one thing, because I am on TikTok, and there's this one guy who really sounds like Lamar, the guy from Reading Rainbow, and he was
LeVar Burton.
Yes, and
It's pronounced Jordan.
Yes, the individual was like floored. He's just like, "You have no idea how much you flattered me on this." And so they went through, and it's like, and people were commenting in the comment threads about how much the joy of reading he brought to people. And to me, that really should be brought back. Oh, hand sewing, nice.
It was my great grandma taught me when I was little. We'd sit out in her trailer, and so she'd get the patterns from the
Mhm,
fabric store, and then we'd sew pillows or whatever, and
mhm.
cross stitch. I did cross stitch when I was younger.
That's awesome. That's great for finger dexterity. And
Yeah,
also
that's all
math and
gone.
counting.
All that dexterity's gone now.
I found
Maybe
it
gated
useful
some of it.
too.
Grab some of that back so you can apply it to the fretboard, man.
My
Yeah.
grandma was really into that kind of stuff, so I found it useful to have more effective communication with people when I can relate to something in sewing where they're not going to look at me and go, "Oh, this guy's going to know about sewing or whatever." To kind of snap them into like, hey, not everybody's in your whatever what you're used to. So I've valued having some knowledge about how to sew or whatever. And then, like I was saying, when you know how to sew, it means you can do more effective first aid for people too.
Mhm.
And
And
critter.
you can fix your own clothes. You can attach a button. I mean, that is a major thing for that. And I can't tell you, and Gunpowder Beauty will know this, how many times when we were younger where the bra strap failed. Knowing how to sew and how to fix that quickly was a huge thing.
Safety pin.
Safety pins work depends on where it broke.
It'll
The
get you. It'll get you to the end of the school day.
Sometimes yes, but if it was the band that broke, you needed to sew it. Sometimes you had to sew the band close. So you had to have hopefully one of your girlfriends knew how to sew and had something to be able to do that. And major thing. So yeah, gardening is. She's also bringing up gardening. Yeah, gardening and farming. That's a massive thing. And knowing knowing where your food comes from. The way I look at it, with everything that's coming up with the known fertilizer shortages and things like that are coming up, that the old gardens that my grandmother had, that some of them would have been your grandmothers or great grandmothers, depending on age, during World War I and World War II, were the victory gardens, where people had gardens to supplement the food that they needed, was considered to be the patriotic duty.
That
And
was
now,
that was something I did with my son too. Was when he was little. We'd grow, it just being planters, or I built it's like a 3x3 planter so we could have a
Mhm.
garden. Just like carrots and lettuce and basic stuff, but so he could experience growing stuff. And
I'd have to get all
Probably-
here in Tacoma.
probably-
All the dirt's contaminated.
Yeah, we do have to, because Woods, it sounds like you're not
I get
far
a letter
from.
every year saying don't grow stuff.
Yeah, we actually, where we are, because I think you're not far from where I'm at either.
I'm right by the Bass Pro Shop.
Okay, yeah. So you got some of the overflow from the refinery.
Yeah.
Now where I'm at in Tacoma, there was a refinery, and we've been told you do no food crop growing in the soil at all, in the
Right.
ground. It's all
get-
raised beds. And there is, though, a remediation for that. Some plants within the Brassica family, which is your broccoli, your spinach, your kales, and things like that, will draw out that heavy metal contamination.
I love all the words you're using except for the broccoli part, and I'm never going to do that.
You can't eat it.
Like, that
When
even
you're-
better.
When you're drawing this, when you're using the plants to draw out, and each plant is a targets a specific metal. When you do that, you actually have to treat it as hazardous waste. So you get the whole thing out, the leaves, whatever it is, right before it goes to seed, because then it'll really start pulling a lot of stuff out of the soil, especially the metals out of the soil. You make sure you get the entire roots. you have it in a bag and you take it down to the dump and you let them know what you did, because otherwise they'll compost it, and you don't want that going back into the soil area. So that's where you use like a red or an orange bag for contamination. And so it's it is a way of doing it. And I know this because they were doing it in California to clear up a Superfund site, because it was easier to deal with. It can be a toxic substance. It can give bunnies gas, and not a good thing for them after and long term. So it can be. Actually, there is a poison within broccoli. You just have to be careful.
I knew it.
So you just have to be careful with it.
That's why when I make broccoli, bacon broccoli, I make the broccoli into a slurry first, and then hydrate the slurry.
Yeah. So there's a lot that goes on with it. But yeah, there is a way of doing it. We're actually going to be taking our soil down to the Pierce County Extension Office to have them tested to see what the metals are, and with everything else in it, and then get the specific plants. It'll be probably a 3 to 4 year process, but we will be able to decontaminate the soil that's around the yard and everything with that. You want to make sure that some of the wild animals like the deer and such don't eat it, because it will concentrate the heavy metals. It'll concentrate the lead and the arsenic. And I think we also have cadmium in our soil too, because of the refinery. And I can't remember what the fourth one is. So yeah, it's a great way of dealing with it. Oh, Bacon, you're in Western Washington?
Yeah, he's in Tacoma.
Oh yeah,
He's in Lake.
yeah. I'm just north of him then, if he's in Lakewood, for that. So, and yeah, you would not expect everything is all the soil up in this area is contaminated from the refinery. And don't let them say it's just a refinery. The volcanoes also generate a lot of lead and arsenic. So Rainier has also put a lot of lead and arsenic in the soil too. And girlfriend of mine is a hydrogeologist and does soil remediation. And she brought up that when we were talking about some stuff dealing with Holden, with the mine tailings from up there and soil testing and everything with it, arsenic and lead will be very close when it comes to testing. So if you see lead in this area, presume arsenic also. So that is something to be aware of. And if you're gardening and you're wanting to work on stuff, so that's one thing to just keep an eye on.
I would be able to garden if I wanted to. My dogs would dig it up immediately. Lab life.
Let them dig the holes.
You're not understanding how much they will dig. They will dig and dig and dig and dig and dig and dig. And then whatever I put in there, they're going to dig more. I'd have to build a fence around it. I love them, but they're jerks.
We have deer that eat everything. And I do mean everything.
Well, I've got one puppy. He's only 60. He's 65 pounds. He's only 7 months old.
Oh, that's so cute.
I love him, but oh my God.
I had a garden going one year. I came home from work, and my dog decided to I'm just going to destroy the whole garden. So I came home, and it was just basically piles of dirt and dead plants everywhere, and just was destroy the first plants. I guess was hey, this is super fun. I'm going to do this every other plant.
Yeah.
Nothing you can do because it's not like the garden's coming back. So I was just well, we can't have a garden with this dog because do grow one plant next year and be no, it's pointless. So basically, a plant assassin. Has anybody seen Prey, the movie Prey?
Nope.
I see it. I'm looking forward to it.
Just saw Bullet Train.
I haven't seen that one yet.
That one's funny.
Has anybody seen Nope?
Nope.
That one is also worth watching. It's called Nope.
I haven't seen that one yet. We saw Maverick. That was good in the theater.
Matt was just telling me earlier that Maverick has taken over the spot for the 7th most popular movie of all time. What was the movie that was the 7th most popular movie of all time, and now the new movie Maverick has taken over it?
I don't know, Top Gun?
Nope. 7th most popular movie of all time, according to this one guy I know on the internet.
I go Terminator just because.
Snow White.
Nope. Which one?
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Nope.
Dark
It was a
Horse,
movie.
Wizard of Oz.
Nope. It was a much more modern movie. A movie I thought was the number 1, but I guess it was the number 7.
E.T.
Nope.
Avengers.
Avatar?
No, Netflix got it. Titanic. So Maverick
Right.
somehow went past Titanic. I
Good.
thought Titanic was like the most famous movie ever. So what I think is it's because India's coming online, and all they got to do is kind of like something, and it's going to blow away whatever we can do. Like everybody in the United States could watch a movie, and like some people in India could take a look at it, and it would be 100,000 more views, right? Or giant number.
Did anyone else laugh when Titanic sank? And
I've never
you
watched that
the
movie.
I've never seen it.
I refuse to watch that movie.
Why won't you let him on the door? There's plenty of room on the door. Plenty of room. Push the girl off the door. She's not.
No, I haven't seen it. I have no desire to see it. It doesn't interest me. Even when it came out, I wasn't interested in seeing it.
Well, that was one of the ones. Titanic was one, like Waterworld, where I was with a girl when I saw it. So I saw Waterworld twice with 2 different girls. It was bad both times.
I don't disagree with you enough to like fight you or nothing, but I don't know. I disagree. It was okay.
I don't mind Waterworld. Yeah, it's not the best movie or nothing.
Not the best ever, no.
I'm not going to say I liked it at the time because I don't remember. I don't think I watched it.
It's no Dances with Wolves or anything, but
Dances with Wolves doesn't have webbed feet though.
it's got a wolf.
I rented Dances with Wolves. I don't know if I would have liked it in the theater. Like JFK. I kind of like JFK, but goddamn, that's a long movie.
What if they would have named it instead of Waterworld, Dances with Porpoises?
Yeah, no.
Dances with Otters.
Drinks his own pee. I do want to see the new Maverick. I want to I'll wait till it's on somewhere I can stream it.
Do it in the theater. It's worth the theater. It really, really is. And
The only movies I go to the theater is when I want to be disappointed by a Star Wars movie. Then I'll go to the theater.
But this will make you happy about going to the theater, maybe. I don't know. It was worth the theater.
It's like 90% flying around in an airplane for sure. Like,
yeah.
Most of the movie is them like finding an excuse to get in an airplane and fly around really fast.
I saw a little bit of the behind the scenes stuff where he taught the actors how to use cameras so he could put them in the fighter jets and they film their own scenes. So I really, I do want to see it.
It's really a good movie, and there are some great lines in there that remind me of how movies used to be written before the second screenwriters writer strike, and where you actually had good writing before you had all of these reality shows and everything else, because they didn't want to pay the writers the royalties anymore or the residuals anymore. So, but it's really well done. it is Maverick is really, really well done. The other one that we saw in the theater, and the reason why we saw it in the theater is because I was warned, because both of us, the husband and I, both wanted to see this, and the reviewer said see it in the theater because the film is extremely dark, and this was The Northman. They filmed it not using any additional light, so it's only moonlight, starlight, firelight, and torches for the night scenes. I don't think you will fully see everything on a smaller screen, or the depths, or just with the shadows and everything else, but it was really, really well done. Another movie worth seeing in the theater. So, Guns and Generals, don't know that film, or the cartoon, or Gods and Generals. Not familiar.
Well, I think Gunmetal Guy's kind of talking about Watership Down.
Oh yeah,
Mentioned it earlier.
yeah. Watership Down is dark, definitely dark. And speaking of bunnies, I may have to cut out to find out what my 10-pound 2-year-old rabbit is doing right now.
Well,
You just let them walk around the house, or are they like in a big thing, or?
No, she's in a we have them in, they're separated, but they're in a 9 square foot enclosure that has their food. They have their food at all times, their pellets, it should say, hay as much as they want, and water. And we'll take her outside when it's not raining, and so she can run around a little bit more. She's a cord eater, so we can't let her out. She attacked the cord on her water dish, because her water dish was one of those cat fountain ones, and she snipped the cord in half. And we're like, yeah, no. 3.5 hours long.
They're
yeah.
Those are, from what I remember, they got to constantly be chewing, right? Like they're always
Yes.
like,
Yeah, their front teeth will constantly grow. So we have hay, which is 85% of their diet.
Good night,
and
Michael.
Other toys. Have a good night, Michael. And we'll have like balsa wood and any wood from a stone fruit tree, so that they can chew on it and things like that. And because they're constantly chewing. Bunstruction is the term that we use all the time, is the bunnies deconstructing what they want to do and how they'll make holes where they want holes to be. If you give them a cardboard box, like a banana box, they will make an opening where they want the opening to be. And it's something that they enjoy doing. But yeah, willow is another thing, grapevines, things like that. We make sure that they've got them, because yeah, they constantly chew. And bunny bites hurt. Their jaws are extremely powerful.
I remember holding on. I would carry them around, do stuff. I mean, they never bit me. I don't remember getting bit.
Yeah,
maybe they would nibble. Like I think if you stuck your finger in their mouth, they would nibble on. Like they would, but they'd figure out it's not food and they'd quit biting me. But I mean, like I don't remember ever like having one. Like that's a long time ago.
The reason why ours, Felix, when he would go off food, because that's when they would go into gastric, we would have to force feed him. So that's getting a syringe into this bunny's mouth. Yeah, not something that they like doing. Or if they're upset and they want to be put down, or if they're frightened, they will bite. If you're not paying attention to their kicking or pawing, kind of a thing, and you're still not paying attention, yeah, they will bite. And if it's a defensive mechanism for them on that. So when Felix was sick, I was trying to feed him spearmint leaves rolled up in tiny little balls, and I got a bite on my thumb where he actually bit through the nail. That hurt, to say the least. So, and then I'm like, that's it. I'm just going to they have a thing called critical care, and it's a powdered form of the pellets plus hay and additional minerals and vitamins for them. You mix it up, get it into a syringe, and then you use a syringe to force feed them. Not an easy thing to do with a 3-pound bunny. I don't look forward to ever having to do it for the 10-pound bunny, because she is a big one.
Growing up, we only ever had the dwarves, so pretty small.
Yeah.
I had a French lop when I was a kid that my mom got from me from one of her friends. That was the meanest creature I've ever met in my life. I had about 6 months, and then I pawned it off on one of my friends.
Like you had it inside like a
No, it was in a pan out in the yard, and it had its own little cage, and I had to go out and try to clean it, and I would throw it carrots, and it would try to bite me. Like, it was mean as hell.
That's because it didn't have attention, and it was by itself. Rabbits are.
I never wanted a rabbit to begin with.
Yeah, that was your mom's.
Ours was like a piece, like a wooden thing that was maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4 feet off the ground, so that
hutch.
the poop would fall underneath it.
Yeah, we have,
I don't know if there was like a billion of them in there. I don't know how many, maybe a dozen of them in there. And then you could just open it, and the ones that, well, maybe here's the thing. I would open it, and the ones that felt like coming over would come over. So I guess if I would have been like, no, I want to go grab this other one that doesn't want to be with me, maybe that one would have.
That one might. Yeah, they don't like being handled. The reason why we make sure that they get handled is if we have to take them to the vet, if we have to, we'll take them outside, and we have a large pen that we'll have outside in the yard, in the front yard. If we have to pick them up because there's a dog coming over that is not leashed, we don't want them jumping off of us and things like that. So, but we make sure we definitely handle them. She's not happy about it, but she is becoming more accepted because Oscar, the older bunny, he actually likes to snuggle. He will sit and be held. I think the longest I've been able to hold him is about 6 hours. And I'll do that sometimes when I'm working, and he will just fall asleep, sort of like what you do for a preemie with a kangaroo pouch, and it's just sitting on your chest. He will just sit there for hours, and she's a little too big for that, but she is learning. She's also learning not to growl at me. Growling is not acceptable.
So I think we'll start winding her down.
Yeah, I actually have to get going a little early. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for jumping in. Good to see you again.
Yeah, it's same. And like I said, been winding down what I was doing before, so it's been different, to say the least. And but it's been good.
So if you're not, you are on our Gilded, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I am on your Gilded.
There's always links in there if you ever want to jump in.
Will do. Yes, rabbits will growl, they will squeak, and they will snore. In the Gilded, so people see this because I'm sure you've got a pet folder in there for that. I'll post a video of our of Oscar snoring, and he snores loud. So y'all have a good night, and I will chat with you later.
Yeah, have a good night.
Thanks for coming on. Oops, I just got back.
Oh, I thought you were sleeping.
No.
Mr. PNW Woods, is there anything you'd like to plug?
GWebs has got that show on Saturday that's pretty cool. That's Ask Gun Questions, and you two are ones that could probably help me with more good gun questions. And I guess the GWebs can talk more about it, but the idea is like there's so many new gun owners, and where do they go for gun questions? So like, what is a caliber, or like a lot of those kind of basic things. But it's him and Tony Simon and Clover most of the time. But it's a pretty cool show. And I think it's 2 o'clock for me, but then it'd be other times for other people. But I don't really care about those other times.
Noon for us. Everybody else has to do.
Okay, noon for us, but other people they can figure it out. Yeah, like that.
Yeah, I catch part of it sometimes, but it's in that napping window before G23's chat, so I don't always catch it. So, hey, almost forgot to do that. Oh, gearwebsites.com. Just trying to type and talk. For 2A related stickers, patches, t-shirts, and other sundries. www.gearwebsites.com. Hopefully I typed that right. So is there anything you want to plug, G-Webs?
Oh yeah. Earlier today, I watched the NAGA and National African American Gun Owners Association town hall, which was freaking amazing. So if you're interested in 2A stuff, I was going to bring it up earlier, but we were kind of chatting about pizza and stuff like that. So it was super well done. I think the Virginia Citizens Defense League does about the best like online group meetings, and theirs is a state level one. This one is a national level one. And what's cool about that organization is it's a national level organization of local gun clubs. So kind of like CMP, how you have to be a member of a gun club to qualify for CMP. It's not like you have to qualify to join. It's just that a lot of people that join NAGA are joining because their local gun club is an affiliate, and they join the local gun club, and then they realize, oh, it's affiliated with all these other gun clubs. So it's a cool organization. It's since 2015, and they're doing a bunch of interesting like directions, and one of them is this online town hall, they call it. So it's like they had maybe 10 questions to ask the a doctor lady who is somehow involved in it, in the organization, the one guy who's sort of like, you know, their equivalent of Paul, like their media guy, except super competent and like knows what he's doing, ran the show good. And then the Philip, the guy who invented the thing, and then a third guy, and I forget who his role is, but another guy who like, you know, had a lot of insight and stuff, maybe like a lawyer or a counsel or something like that. So they have like these 10 questions that they ask themselves sort of. And then because it was live and they were paying attention to stuff, they asked questions from the group, and it was hands down the most effective, efficient, like to the point gun conversation I've experienced in maybe forever. Like it was really good. It was 2 hours long. I think I might have linked to it earlier, but it's in my channel, or, you know, just check it out. NAAGA. That's what I'm plugging. Thanks for the show, and thanks for hosting each week. This week we get a Saturday show now. And I've heard that we get 2 Saturday shows because you missed one. And I was wondering if it's a 4-hour show now, or if it is going to be 2, like an additional Saturday, or is it going to be like
I'm not sure. I think you need a nap. I'm not sure what you're talking about there.
So my justice. I just want justice.
No justice, no peace. So here is a link. There we go. So I put out a link for what the organization you were just talking about out in the chat. And Baron has been so kind to drop links for everybody that's been on the show tonight. I'll say a quick hello to the Cancer Mouse, Ting Ting. Good morning. DJ.
Yes, sir. On
Might you plug
Saturday.
away?
Yeah, thanks, man. On Saturday, on the A Great Start Shooting School YouTube channel, there's a great discussion in the evening. Check that one out. Until I see all of y'all again, be safe, have fun, support your local bands, and rock.
And Baron, anything you want to plug?
Yeah. CMP has a new educational course they're putting out. They actually let you build your own M1 Garand from parts. And it's a 3-day course, and on the third day you get to shoot it.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, that sounds pretty damn awesome. I'd love to do that. It's the CMP South. I think it's in, is it Talladega? Or is it Anniston? It's one of the two, but they don't have all the info out, but I'll bring it up when I get more. But goddamn, wouldn't that be cool? 3-day course where you get to build an M1.
Yeah. So is the
And all the profits go to teaching kids how to shoot.
so it's for a good cause too.
Yep.
This weekend will be the overnight, 11 p.m. Pacific, some other time zones. Don't have a topic because I forgot to think of a topic. Not sure what we're going to talk about, but we'll talk about something.
We can talk about the CMP for 4 hours.
It'll be riveting. Other than that, I just want to say thank you to everybody who is out there in the live chat participating, and those who might have been watching but not participating. I appreciate you too. And those who watch this in replay, I also appreciate you. You can leave a comment, anything we talked about. Keep the conversation going. Whatever you think we got right or what we got wrong, or just add to. I love hearing from everybody. And I think that's about it. Other than that, I hope everybody has a good day.